Okay, guys, thank you so much. Today we have Steve with us, Stevie Mac.
Thank you.
And I'm always grateful for having you, and thank you so much for accepting to be on our podcast. Please, it's an honor having
Thank
me.
you.
Thank you.
Really great to be finally here. I know you've been pushing me to get here, but time is money. Our schedules are tight, but busy people get things done. And today, public holiday, and we've decided, you know what, the time is literally time to get it done, time to make some money, time for success, time to win. And I think proximity is power. And we're sitting here 67 floors up in a $23 million penthouse. You can either choose to have a coffee and go walk by the beach, or you just dress up, show up and get it done, man. So thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. So the journey that I have taken, you are one of the most important person that had affected the mindset and, who I become today. I'm grateful for you. You have been a coach, you have been a mentor, and you have been a big brother to me. So with that, for those of you guys who do not know who Steve is, I would like him to say.
Let's first of all start off with family. I'm a father of four kids. My oldest is 24, down to 11 years of age, so 2 boys, 2 girls. So fundamentally, I'm human, I'm a dad, I'm a proud dad, and I'm here to help others. I think we lead by example. But with that said, I think our kids need to learn their own lessons. So the only thing I can do is like a wolf, really, is just take the lead and lead from the front. I'm big on that. So over the last sort of 20, 25 years, I've really focused my success being the youngest KFC manager in Australia at the time. Worked in for 3 sort of car dealerships, so effectively Hyundai, Nissan and used cars. And that really taught me gratitude and really how to sell. And then from there, I built my property portfolio initially with a company called Simmons, and I became a real estate investor. But underlying all of that is personal development. So I've probably spent maybe $200,000-$300,000 on attending many, many seminars around Australia. Also been over to Miami to Grant Cardone's 10X. I've met a lot of my heroes. So Tony Robbins, Richard Branson, Eric Thomas. I've interviewed Grant Cardone. I've also spoken to Ryan Serhart before he launched the S brand, and also Gary Vee. I think that nobody's out of reach. So the way I look is we're all equals. So the way, and really who I am as a human, is we are right, wrong until proven otherwise. Here to just make a difference together.
Oh, that's amazing. So regarding personal development, you're just right on point like every other thing. So regarding personal development, how about we start with mindset? Because we want to talk about 3 things of mindset, fitness, and business, which is many, right? So in regards to mindset, what do you think that the impact of a growth mindset in a person in order to be where he wants to be or she wants to be?
Yeah, well, first of all, you need to start with a goal in mind. So that is a blank piece of paper with all your goals written down from A to Z, 1 to 100, okay? If you don't write down your goals, you're never going to get that. A good mentor told me, if you really want to achieve your goals, write your goals down twice a day, not just once. So each day I just write down typically 3 things I need to do for the day, that my major 3 goals. And typically there's 2 easy ones and 1 stretch. The stretch one could take you 3 to 6 to 12 months to do. And to give you an example of that, I'm currently rebranding 2 companies at the moment. I have about 8 to 10 staff that work for me behind the scenes that no one sees that, and it's well beyond my capabilities. So I think the most important thing for stretching in terms of growth and mindset is you can't do it alone. I've got a talk coming up shortly, and it's going to talk about building a team around you. So you need to have other people invested in your goals, but it's also their goal to help you. By them succeeding, you succeed. So I think that it's gone from that singular focus now to a team goal, and what we would call these people is guardians, ambassadors, raving fans, and of course mentors. So the best way to stretch really is, first of all, a vision board. You need to have a vision board with what you want to achieve. What I do personally with my vision board, and I do this around about end of December each year, is I take down all the pictures that I've created, I put new pictures up, and then I replace those pictures with actual Polaroids. So say there's a man driving a nice car and he owns that car. I have that picture, Then I go buy that car or do that experience. I take the picture with a Polaroid and I replace it. So I think things should become reality. Yeah.
So in order to have a team and, the all energy and all of the resources invested in that, a leader need to have a very clear vision and skills to communicate. So what are your tips on, getting the whole team to have that vision?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, perfect. So first of all, the thing that you need to really do is you need to have one strong ally. So that is one person always working beside you. So that could be EA, PA, or business partner. So it starts there. So first of all, divide the problem by 2. So the strongest support. So typically in business for me, what I would personally need is a very good executive to take all my crazy thoughts, put them to paper, and execute them as I'm making money and making sales. Then to motivate the team and to build the team from there in terms of clear vision, you need to have an ambassador on side. So that would be somebody that could take care of, I would call this your stability, your rudder. So somebody that's not running around, that's just literally could be working from home, that you just keep dropping your ideas from there. They will then execute and take it out to the team. So they're your delegators. So you take your idea, you give it to your delegator, and you build your team. Then you need a communication channel. That could be Slack. I personally don't use it, but Slack. I use Trello. WhatsApp groups always really good. Email chains and Zooms. So what I'd fundamentally recommend is talk to your PA, EA, or business partner every day and many times. Speak to your delegator. Check in with your team every 2 to 5 days, and have a team catch up on Zoom or phone call, probably once to twice a month. And then you need to take your team out. You need to celebrate success. So I have a rule which is no rewards without work. So we win, then we have fun.
I like the way that you have a very clear structure on how you have. So that's really, really nice. One of the other things that, a leader needs to have, right? Because always when you're planning something, you want to go, you have to push everyone out of their comfort zone, right? And then there's a moment where things go wrong.
Yeah.
Then everyone is looking at you.
Yeah.
If it's wrong, it's your mistake, it's full accountability.
Of course.
So how do you manage that much of a stress and criticism?
Well, I think you need an outlet. I think that you need to accept that stress happens, and that's where growth happens. I think that most importantly, stress is actually a catalyst. I personally use it as fuel. At 45, you've got to be a bit careful. Cortisol, heart attacks. I recently, yesterday, went to the doctors. I get my bloods done every year. So I think most importantly, to manage that stress, you need to have health, which we'll talk about later. But that you need to have an outlet outside of work. So I would think that the best ideas personally happen when you're not working. So there's something what's called a third space. So a third space could be you have your home life and you have your work life. Your third space is the place that you go to for yourself. That could be the sauna, that could be the beach, that could be waterfalls, that could be your favorite cafe. That's when the ideas are done, and that's when everything should be executed. So what you should do in those times is first have that moment of solitude and gratitude, then write down those goals, then execute from there, but have some time to yourself. So a leader, most importantly, needs patience. If something goes wrong, that's a great thing. You say, great, what's the lesson from this? Because God, the universe, whatever, they're putting things in your way for you to overcome. They're just obstacles. All you've got to do is either climb over them, drive through it, or go around, turn back, but keep moving forwards.
Yeah. Amazing. It reminds me of the guy, I don't know his full name, his name is Jacko. He is a special force.
I know him where he says good.
Yeah. He was like, we have a problem.
Good.
You have a bigger problem. Good.
Yeah.
So after hearing that, I always remind myself, because every problem is an opportunity, right? And it's really good. So the other question I wanted to ask you, I'm hoping that a lot of the new generation, they're going to watch this and they want to have this blueprint of being an entrepreneur. So what is the number one mistake you see that the young entrepreneurs are making?
Okay. I think not having a clear business strategy is one of them. 2, having money behind them. So they borrow to start a business, which is absolutely crazy, because you're actually putting everything on the line. So you actually create yourself stress there. So I would say it is clear financial direction. If I was to go back in time and speak to myself, would be to have your finances in order. You need to have allocated buckets for business expenses. You need to have allocated buckets for investing, allocated buckets for still rewards for that third space that I talked about. But most importantly, understanding profit, loss and cash flow and having some money for a rainy day. So I think that people are just really work blindly. Now, unless you're working with high ticket items with high commission, where it doesn't matter if you stuff up and you make the money later, but if you're a young entrepreneur and you're trying to do drop shipping or something that requires cents and dollars, the smallest mistake will actually throw the whole ship out. So in that case, what I would recommend is having a couple of mentors. We speak about that, but somebody to bounce that idea off and actually execute it and use it as a sounding board. At the end of the day, unless the idea is absolutely terrible, sometimes you just got to have blind faith and just make the jump.
Oh, very clear. Very nice. The other question is regarding the mindset, right? You got to have a resilient mindset. But how can you exercise that?
Okay, so the best way to exercise a mindset is constant audio. So as I'm driving, unless I'm listening to music and wants to pump me up to get my energy going, a bit of Metallica before, so that was great. But with that said, I would listen to Think and Grow Rich, Earl Nightingale, basically all the old school motivators before they were in it to make money. So you go back prior to 1970 and some of the Dale Carnegie's and those guys there, I would go to YouTube and I would just have constantly that playing all the time. That needs to be your soundtrack. Even when you're working, have the ideas. What happens is it gets into the subconscious. The subconscious then goes to work for you and suddenly you have what you think is an original idea, which it's not. The idea is already there. It's sitting in your brain. The key is to get the frequency right, get the vibrations right. Second to that, if you don't like audio, which is quite easy to do, you need to take some time out to read. I don't do that as much anymore, but I've probably read 200-300 books. I've got highlighters, I write journals. I think it's important to document. But I think when you're reading, another way to have retention to exercise is you need to read with a highlighter. So you just highlight as you're reading, then you can flick through and you get the ideas. It doesn't hurt to wreck the book, squish up the book, put pen all over it right there. You'll go back to your favorite chapters and you'll read that as well. Then also in terms of exercising mindset, you would go to seminars. You need to go to personal development days. Now, not only are you going there to listen to the speakers, but you're going there to network, and that's coincidentally kind of how we've met. We've met through social media, we've met through friends, but you need to then find other people that are in that growth phase. So that's part of also your team. Lastly, but not leastly, is if you have a good partner, as I said, it's not their responsibility to take down all your goals, but it's better to date somebody that's ambitious. I'm not against paying for ladies for lunches, dinners, and looking after my children. But I think fundamentally what we want to teach people is how to be independent. It's a nice courtesy if we can do that, but you need to be able to share your goals with your partner. Make sure he or she is on the same track. If not, that's a best friend. One other thing that I would say that's important for growth is this. If you have a tree and the branches are dying, do you keep those branches or do you cut them loose?
I'm a bad gardener.
Oh, correct. Well, you tell me what, you just cut the thing off. No, you cut the branches back. So less is more. The key is this, is the more you want, the harder it's going to be. The less you want, the more you'll see.
Absolutely. So it's like they say that cut the noise, and sometimes not all the ideas are going to be successful. So, one of the things that I'm very grateful for the team that we have today is whatever the idea is, we just give it a try. We see if it works or not, we just drop it. If it makes money, we continue, going stronger on that. Otherwise, we just drop.
And if not, you can sell the idea.
Yeah. Anything that can sell is good. Now regarding I really, not only me, everybody in the network, everybody who knows you really admires you for your skills in knowing people and your networking skills and how you get to know who is who and how you connect everyone to everyone. I wanted last night in the bed, I'm asking myself, like, what kind of question can I ask Steve? So I'm like, the first date, let's get the secret out of, ask him directly. What is the secret? How did you get to that level of being an expert in that?
Okay, so the thing that I did on stage, and the first thing I talk about when you're networking and you walk into a room is first, from the moment you walk in, be nice to the staff and the people on the counter. So get to know their name, ask people's name, use their name, practice it. Be courteous, be fruitful, be giving. But always ask questions. How did you get to this seminar today? How did you get involved with this conference? And they say, oh, Bob's actually my husband, or Bob's the speaker. So what you want to do there is ask questions. So you want to be very intuitive. Second to that, when you head into an event, you want to make a friend. You want to make somebody that's like you, that you can go and coexist and network. Thirdly, and this is where my skill is I look at the person that's up the front. Now, the person up the front never carries a business card because they're the person executing. So there's two tricks here. One, eye contact with the speaker. Don't hold it too long, it's a bit rude. They'll think you're staring them down or flirting, one of the two. But eye contact, be engaging, ask questions. When the opportunity comes up to ask the question on the microphone, be seen. Be the first or second person to ask the question. After that, everyone else gets their confidence and then they follow. But you want to stand up, hi, my name is Steve Mac. I want to say, great, this is what I've learned from XYZ today. Fantastic job, Bob. My question is XYZ. But not just to gloat yourself, but to congratulate the speaker and give the speaker an opportunity to speak about a topic that he or she wanted to bring up. So being seen. Another way for connecting is when you go to an event, take lots of pictures. And so a lot of people say, you're everywhere. I always take pictures and I'll either say what's your social media, give them a share on story, immediately post to one of the groups, unless it's some sort of secret group that we need to keep everything confidential. But the other trick is get a photo with them on their phone, get them to share the story, then you get the audience. So that's how you become omnipresent. Last but not least is just practicing your own social media. Have a brand, which is a personal brand, which just says, these are my values, this is what I stand for. Still make it funny occasionally, but be consistent on your brand. My preferred platforms nowadays would be Instagram and LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn for business, and I use Instagram to show what I'm up to and what I'm doing. That's effectively my business card. So when somebody does look at you, to whether they make a decision whether they follow you or don't follow you, they think this person's interesting and do that. Kindness goes a long way. Buying somebody a coffee. You see somebody with a flat on the side of the road, pull over and help them. You never know who you're helping. You see somebody that's homeless or disadvantaged or whatever. Don't do it for pride. Just do it for the fact that your heart tells you to do that. If your heart says help, you don't need to put that on social media. But good things happen to good people. So if you do the right thing consistently, that's it. Last thing is make sure you leave the house. Don't be stuck on an AI. Do not be stuck on the computer and do that. And do things like this. Do podcasts. Do your own YouTubes. Do TikTok. Do whatever social media platform you can. And don't follow the trend. Be the trend.
Absolutely. I really appreciate it because, once around 8 months ago, I was a nobody. Then I came to you and I told you, this is my vision. You were one of the guys that was very authentic and very helpful and very kind. The same principles you just said you were, and you still are. And you told me that, yeah, you can go. I'm here to support. And that really captured me and everything, and I'm going to always be careful for that. So another skill that I admire in you is sales. It's not only, I can see that you are a very good salesman, and I've heard from a lot of other legends that you're great at that, especially with Houseland Co. On the website, it says that 1,100 houses are sold. Is that true?
More than that now, about 1,400.
That's crazy. How do you get to that level?
It's having no limits. so I don't really have an off switch. So I ask what the record is, and then I break it. Effectively, it came from an ability to, when I was selling cars, I was selling a high number of cars. And then when I went into house sales, they said, well, it's only X month. So it was a ratio of, say, 1 to 4. 20 cars to, say, 5 houses. What happened there is I took the same mindset and belief that I had in selling cars, and I took that to housing. Within the first month, I broke my boss's record of her best sales for the last 7 years. Within a year, I was the number 1 salesperson in that company. So it was both regional and city. So regional is not meant to outsell city. So I don't work with any preset beliefs. I just ask myself, what do I think I can do? And now and then I add a little bit more to it. To give you an example, at my absolute prime, I think I sold 24 houses in 20 hours. Okay, I did a 60-hour stint. There's a whole story that goes around this, but I can tell you I was very annoyed and pissed off, and I wanted to see what I could do. And I think I sold 20 houses in 24 hours. I did not sleep for 2 days, and I stayed in the display home. But it comes with consequences at the end of that. I'd slept and had a breakdown pretty well because I was absolutely wrecked. I made a lot of money, but it's okay if you're crying and you're making monies. But honestly, I was just tired. But every emotion, I'd put everything into it. But I was just saying to H before, I feel like I'm about to peak again. So I've just turned 45. And this month, in the last 5 years, is my best month in House Co. So it's a different type of sales. It's a different product. It's only for investments. In fact, here's a problem. You ready? We have a graph for sales and for money that's made for the month that my PA puts together. And we're about to, and it was meant to be a peak. Okay, this is the top. Yeah. We're about to break the graph. And I said, we need more room on the graph. And she says, I said, we have to adjust the vertical axis, the vertical axis of the graph, because we're about to pop through the ceiling. And that was meant to be my peak. So I've got, I think 7 days to go or 6 days to go. And this will be my best month on record. And I feel like I'm just getting started.
You see, I was just imagining one of the best lines would be, we need to adjust the
vertical axis.
That's really
adjust
badass.
The vertical axis. Yeah. It's
That's
pretty
really
cool, isn't
badass.
it?
Yeah.
Sounds cool. I liked it.
I just imagine, in a military and a setup with the movie.
Yeah. I'm going to do a post on that today, vertical axis.
I had a question from H too.
Yeah.
I hope we're the same too.
Yeah, you can say anything you want.
Okay. What is your favorite movie?
Honestly, it's an old school movie, Dusk Till Dawn. I like Quentin Tarantino. I like abstract. I like Sin City. I love Dumb and Dumber. I still love Something About Mary. Look, they're easy ones, but I want a movie that takes me on a journey I never, honestly, I personally don't really watch any TV. I haven't watched TV personally, like free to air, in about 7 or 8 years. Also, I have a TV show, but I don't watch TV. I do watch a little bit of Netflix occasionally, but I didn't have a TV for 7 years. But when I was spending more time with my son and we're doing a few things together, we've got some Netflix and it just might be our time. And I also use it to watch docos and that sort of stuff as well. But I never watch the trailers to a movie. I like actually going to the movies, and that's my downtime. I get my minty chocolate thing like that and some frozen Coke, and I just sit there, and I actually probably want to fall asleep in the movies. But it's my downtime, and I like to be taken on a journey. When I watched Dusk Till Dawn, it was just such a cool movie that just took me into vampires and just absolute chaos. And I'm like, hey, you're going to get yourself out of this situation. And I don't mind a few zombie movies. I want stuff that's futuristic, a little bit unreal. I'm not really a Marvel fan or Disney or anything like that. I want an independent producer that's just whatever's in your mind, get it out. Yeah.
Guess what? Me and Hitch, we shouted that together.
Yes.
Can you guess the movie?
Is it Dusk Till Dawn? No.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Of course it's Wolf. Younger generation. You're definitely Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. I met you at Lux VIP Events. And by the way, one of the best networking events I have been every person in there has a purpose. Every person they have a mindset for growth, and that's really attractive about that. Can you tell me more about it? What made you decide to start such an amazing group of network of people?
Yeah, first of all, when I moved to Melbourne around about 10 years ago, didn't know anyone, even though I'm extroverted. I was still a new kid at school, effectively. Had to go make new friends, and I was busy working. So I went to some different networking groups, some MLM things. I tried absolutely everything just to make, I guess, friends and acquaintances, okay? Some of those rooms you walk into, you fit into, some it's all awkward, that's fine. Some do or don't like you, whatever reason, okay? But one of the decisions I made was, why am I chasing? Like Stevie Mac, I'm new to the city, why don't I just create my own tables? So one of the first thing I did, which we'll just touch on briefly, is I ran a sales seminar, and I ran it for all the salespeople in the industry. So this is Metricon, Dennis Family Homes, Porter Davis, Simmons, like all the competitors. I said, you know what, I'm going to do a seminar, and I'm going to put everybody in the room. It's like Coles, Woolies, and Aldi all getting together. It's not meant to happen. So that caused controversy. But the advantage that it has, as I said to the bosses, I said, these guys, you don't own these staff. If they want to come to my seminar and learn sales, they can. So I do things a little bit differently. I don't follow that corporate trend. We need to have a certain color theme, and we need to have this scent here. I am very creative. The advantage with putting together events, and that's why I created Lux, is I need an outlet outside of real estate. The people I like dealing with is business owners and self-employed. The reason for that is a 9 to 5 do not understand the hours that we work. A 70, 80 hour week is easy for me if I want to do that. They also, if I say, hey, I want to go to Mornington Peninsula for the day, I want to go to Sydney, they've got to ask their boss for permission to take the day off. As a business owner, you can do that. So I'm one of the people I could hang out with. They also have typically a capped thinking, not always, on money that they can earn, and they believe in working money, not having money work for them. So why I created Lux was 2 years ago, got inspired by AP, Adrian Patelli. He's done a great job with LMCT, and obviously very generous. Got a subscription-based model, which just focuses on really benefiting everyday Aussies, okay? There's different thoughts out there, but the advantage that he did is that he's very generous. He's actually an easygoing guy. I saw him doing something with jets, and I thought, wow, I used to be number one at sales. I wonder how I would go creating another company, building it from day one and building it there. So all I did was execute, because I'm massive in immediate action. I created the company on the day that I had the thought, so I called it Lux VIP Events. I created a SAM card, so effectively like a Stripe system to take payment processing. And I decided to make it $20 a month. Reason I made it $20 a month is if it went bad, no one's ever going to ring me and say, I want my $20 back. And I got my first customer. Then from there, built it out, and then we ran our first event. In the last 2 years, we've run over 100 events. And now, even in the last week or so, maybe 2 weeks ago, I did 6 events in a row. I'm doing this, not only am I doing this, but I'm also traveling to different states. So I was Melbourne to GC to Brisbane, back to GC to Sydney, back to Melbourne. And that's just an exciting week. And still running one companies. The fulfillment it gives me is I like seeing business owners grow. And you and I both know I'm very big on loyalty. Who is by your side? If for $20, the sake of $20, somebody doesn't want to do business with me, guess what that's shown me? It's shown me I can't give them the $1 million real estate deal. So I actually use not only the platform, but I use it as a measure, and this is honest, I use it as a measure to see who's on my team. If they're on my team, I help them. If they're not part of Lux, I'm still friends with them. But why, if I have a coffee shop, do you drink coffee elsewhere?
Yeah.
Come to my coffee shop.
Yeah.
Stevie Mac's coffee shop.
Absolutely. What is your legacy? What do you want your legacy?
There's always this discussion of impacting like 1 billion people, million people, and that sort of stuff. And I think a lot of people come up with that number. Look, my legacy is for my children to take over my businesses, for my children to make their own independent choices, to make it really my purpose on earth. is I am a leader, and I think if Armageddon came around or something happened, I'd be putting together some troops and we'd be able to fight it and survive it. But realistically, I think the world needs more love, not hate. So with that said, I think where the focus needs to be, and you're always thinking for the worst, but I think where the focus needs to be on charity. So I'm big on helping disadvantaged people, not necessarily people that have put themselves in that situation, because, I mean, they're some of their decisions. If somebody says, hey, I need a hand, I'm here to help them. But sometimes people don't put their hand up and we go to help them. So my legacy is to help orphan children, mental kids, kids that are self-harm. So I'm big on mental health and suicide prevention, but really helping the younger youth. I think if we can make an impact to those children, they are then the future leaders. So all we want to do, at the end of the day, we're just bones and dust, is just to leave a little bit of our spirit in everybody. And they say the world was a better place because of X, Y, Z.
Amazing. Wow. Love the legacy. I need to think about my legacy now.
Yeah.
You brought it to another level.
Yeah.
You're a very busy man, and I think the time ran out, but do you want to continue or you have to?
I'll leave with a couple of things, maybe for the audience, if that's okay. My advice is this, is that every single day is a brand new day. I would like to set the audience a challenge. I want to think of it like it's not your last day on earth, but it's your last day and you're in this healthy body and you're happy. I think what you should do is make the perfect day. What does the perfect day look like? I think you should get up early before the sun. I think you should practice some gratitude. I think whether you're sharing that with a loved one or you're out in the jet ski. But my challenge would be this: write down the 10 or 20 things that you'd want to do in your perfect day and go and make the perfect day, and then build on that and make another perfect day. Because we only ever have today, we have this present, we have this very moment. So the key is learn to live in the moment, is what I'm going to say. If anybody does make their perfect day, I'd love to hear what was the highlight and what they learned. And that's it. That's where I would leave it.
Beautiful. For everyone who's watching, if you want to connect to BIST network community in Australia, it's not only in Melbourne, it's all across Australia.
It's national and soon global.
And soon global. So please, you can go to Lux VIP Events and you can find
us on Instagram. It's probably the easiest thing to do. We actually don't advertise. It's all organic. We have almost 400 members, hopefully 1,000 by Christmas. The club's only $39 a month now, which is nothing. We give the equivalent experiences of what Forbes and Carbon, maybe One Life and some of those bigger groups would do. We don't always have some of the leaderships and structure as some of those things. But the thing is this: if you want that, that's fine. But if you want to have fun and have fun while making money, Lux is for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. Thank you, man.
Loved it.